Okay, so Justin is in the process of divorcing his high school sweetheart, Sarah. They go through the majority of the process. They get the MDA signed. Both of them waive their rights to each other's 401k plans and all of that. They really just want to sever their ties and go their separate ways. They don't want anything from each other. They don't have no shared real property. They don't have any property together. They have no children. So, like I said, they just want to go their separate ways and live their life. So, Justin has his lawyer draw up the final decree. He finalizes it and say, hey, let's go ahead and get this done. Let's get it wrapped up. Go ahead and send it to Sarah's attorney. So, prior to Sarah receiving this from her attorney, she ended up dying in a freak accident. So, unfortunately, she was unable to sign the final decree. So now we have the situation of you have this widow by law, or maybe not, but you have a situation whereas an MDA was signed and basically the divorce was almost over with, but of course there is no divorce without a final decree. So um, Justin really takes that into, consideration. He tears up the final decree, or what would have been the final decree, and decides that, yeah, he's going to play this widow role because Sarah had a huge life insurance account and she had a nice pension, and it really was in his manipulative, deceitful odds to go ahead and take advantage of that. So he, of course, gets his lawyer and he's like, yeah, these are the things that I am entitled to by Tennessee state law as a widow to my wife. All of this is mine. You can't deny my rights. So, of course, Sarah's family hires a lawyer to fight on behalf of her estate. Um, when debating whether or not they were still married, that would probably be chancery court because most of the divorces are handled there. And then from there, they would probably go to probate court to deal with, the estate status and the distribution from there. So, unfortunately, Sarah's family lost their fight against Justin. So, of course, they want to appeal. So, where do you go from once you leave probate court? Where do you go from there to, of course, take your next step in, whatever judicial process you're seeking to get the hearing and the decision that you really wanted? So the next step would be to appeal it. And this is where you would go to the Court of Appeals. It hears appeals from lower courts and some state boards and commissions. This court only hears civil, not criminal cases. The Court of Appeals has 12 judges who divide into groups called panels of 3 judges to hear appeals in Jackson, Knoxville, and Nashville. They may meet in other states if needed, but those are really the states that you'll find them in. And let's say, okay, they go to the appellate courts, and then, all right, Sarah's family get the decision that they wanted. They get some good news from this court. So what happens if Justin wants to appeal the decision? So then you could file it in the Supreme Court of Tennessee. It's the highest court in Tennessee. It has 5 judges called justices who decide the cases together. It's called the Court of Last Resort because it decides appeals of criminal and civil cases from lower courts. They also interpret state and federal law and constitutions. In some cases, when there is a pressing need for a quicker decision, they decide cases from the appeals court. So, guys, that was my brief mini lesson on jurisdictions and the court system in Tennessee. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks.